Hi guys, my name is Anita and I'm a member of St. Matthew's Episcopal Church in Benton, Arkansas, and we were going to have a dog obedience class at our church starting this month. And of course, with all of the coronavirus social distancing recommendations, we had to postpone that class. And so I've had a request to make some videos to help people get started training their dogs and maybe be even more prepared when we're able to finally have the class in person. So I thought I would give you guys a few little things that you might want to get started with your dogs. But first, I just wanted to go over a few introductory points, which is what I would have done in person if we could have met with the class in person. And I apologize, my neighbor's mowing the yard, so there's some distraction noises there. First of all, your dog, when you train your dog, they should wear either a flat buckle collar, which is I'm holding up here. It's just the kind that goes around their necks and it snaps like that. So it's easily on and off, but it's very secure. They should either be wearing something like that or something that's called a martingale collar, which is what my dogs wear. It's essentially basically the same thing, but it has a feature where it you put the leash through this loop and it closes on their neck. It's better for dogs where their neck is bigger than their head and they could easily slip out of a collar. These martingales help keep that from happening. And then your leash should be just a 6-foot leash that has a clip on it for your dog's collar. Just a plain old leash. They come in nylon or leather. It doesn't have to be expensive. It should be something that is appropriate for your dog's size and your dog's temperament. You know, if they're big and kind of wild, you're going to want a really strong leash there. So that's the collar and leash. Treats, when you're training your dog, you should have different levels of treats. And what I mean by that is, you know, you can have dog treats that you buy at the store that are just dog treats. You can use those for smaller accomplishments with your dog, something your dog already knows and you're just rewarding them for it. But when you're teaching new skills, dogs learn more quickly and more enthusiastically with human food. Specifically, they tend to like meat or cheese. I use string cheese like this a lot, and they love it. And this is really helpful when you're teaching your dog to walk on a leash nicely, because you can hold this and let them nibble on it out of your hand as you're walking. Another suggestion would be they sell bags of like grilled chicken strips for salads and fajitas and that kind of thing. Those chicken strips are good to work with also. So it's kind of knowing your dog and what is a high value treat for your dog. It's going to be different for every dog, but those are just some treat suggestions for you. And let's see, we use positive reinforcement methods. So like when you're teaching your dog new behaviors like sit or lie down or stay, we're going to use a reward-based approach to that and not you know, we're not going to tell them no or get on to them if they don't sit when we tell them to sit, because they're learning and we want to reward them. It's kind of like if I gave you a math problem to solve and I said, if you don't do this right, I'm going to step on your foot. You're probably going to approach that situation much differently than if I said, if you solve this math problem, I'm going to give you $100 bill. Okay, that's the same with our dogs. They respond better to positive reinforcement, treats that are motivating. Your praise to them is motivating to them. So we just always remember to be positive. The no's and the things that we do to tell our dogs no are really for behavior problems more than just trying to get them to learn new things. So that's that. I don't have to preach to you about cleaning up after your dog because we're all doing this at home. So that's basically it. And you guys can, as we progress through the different exercises, feel free to email me or text me with questions. You could even do a video and send to me and let me take a look and see what's going on. All dogs learn differently, and what works for one, it doesn't necessarily work for another. And so I just want you to remember that. And if something that we're doing, it doesn't work for your dog, I will work with you to come up with a solution for that. Part of this is just problem solving and trying to find out what works for each individual dog. So that's kind of an introduction to what we're going to do. I'm going to start out, my first video will be about working on getting your dog's attention. We're gonna do a little exercise with that, and we will also work on walking on a leash nicely and coming when called. So it's important when you're training your dogs to kind of break it up a little bit. You don't want to work on sit for 30 minutes with your dog. You want to do it 2 or 3 times, and then if that's like working on sit is a stationary exercise, then you're going to want to walk them around and have a moving exercise. Okay, because it's like with kids, you know, you can't just sit there and drill them for long periods of time. You've got to break it up and make it as fun as possible. And when you're doing a stationary exercise, then go ahead and break that off and walk around with them, and even you might want to play with them between exercises. I think that's great. Playing with your dog is wonderful. We're also going to look at maybe doing some trick training, just because it helps you to bond with your dog. It's not because you're going to perform somewhere if you don't want to, but it's just a good thing to do to help bond with your dog and get your dogs focusing on you. So I will see you guys in the next exercise.